Hi, my name is Ade, and welcome to another video tutorial from The Voice Coach.
Guess it's funnier from where you're standing, 'cause from over here I missed the joke. Cleared away from my crash landing, done it again, another number for your quotes.
Hi, my name is Ade, aka The Voice Coach, and this is another one of my X Factor blogs. Almost the last one, because after last week's shenanigans, I decided that I couldn't take anymore. But I thought I'd give it a week, cool myself down a little bit, and here we are again. But I can't guarantee that we'll be doing this every week because it's getting a little bit too much to bear, and we'll talk about that in a little bit of time. This week we're going to look at the vocal performance of Ben Haenow in particular, and we'll look at all things to do with the X Factor, everything to do with who was in the bottom two, who went home, why they went home, and we're looking at what the judges' performances were this week and last week. And of course we'll look at my pick for the performance of the week, and of course you can give me your suggestion on who you thought was the performance of the week. So, what's been happening on the X Factor? Well, first of all, let's start with last week and the reason why I almost quit this blog like indefinitely. The theme last week was, I believe, horror or whatever to do with Halloween, and it just descended into a joke in terms of the themes had nothing to do with the singers and quality of their voices, but turning them all into caricatures and making the singing secondary. There are some great singers on the show who were just made to look ridiculous with all kind of gold paint and bites on the side of their neck and all kind of ridiculousness. And I just didn't buy into it. I just thought it was very poor, in poor taste. Aside from that, I thought that some of the song selection by the coaches was pretty poor as well, to say the least. And the performance of the coaches was again questionable. But anyway, moving on from that, as I said, I nearly quit this blog, couldn't really see the justification for trying to do something credible on a show that had no intention of being credible. But anyway, I'm giving them another shot because this week there was some interesting developments in the show, and of course we have to talk about the bottom two. For me, it was a surprise. I expected Only the Young to be in the bottom two this week, and I also thought the number was up for Stevie Ritchie, but it looks like he's going all the way to the title. And of course, this week we had Jay James and Paul Acaster in the bottom two, and it was probably, in many respects, in some ways, the best sing-off that we've had because at least they both sang in tune. And actually, probably, in my opinion, the best performance that Jay James has put down, but he had to anyway because, of course, in my opinion, Paul Acaster is a far superior singer. The problem here was, of course, the system that allows for Louis to show that he needs to grow a set, essentially. He could have easily just said that he wanted to say Paul Acaster and we wouldn't be here right now, because in my opinion, Paul Acaster has a much better chance of winning the competition than Jay James, in my humble opinion. But also, of course, we have to look at the song choices over the last couple of weeks and for Paul Acaster, and of course responsibility has to go with Scary Spice, who was visibly upset last week, but actually what she should have been was upset that she'd made a mistake and should have been honest enough to go hands up, because Paul has sung 2 rock songs. He's been singing outside of his own, not comfort zone, but outside of what he is all about. He's a soul singer, he's a soul man. When you had the chance to do any kind of soul song last week, you passed up and made him sing a Bat Out of Hell and then this week you have the choice between Queen and Michael Jackson. Human Nature would have been a perfect song for Paul, but you go for a rock song again. And that has to be the responsibility of Scary Spice. So I'm saying Louis has to go down as one of the worst judges of the week, and Scary Spice should sit on the same chair with him. Anyway, aside from that, of course, you have competition that is getting more tense at the top end of it, and we'll be looking at who we think will be more likely to get into the later stages of it as well. In my opinion, Fleur put down a performance this week that really put her hat in the ring as one of the potential finalists, and I think if she keeps on performing and coming up with the right song choices in the way that they have thus far, then she's in with a shout. And I also think, dare I say it, that at this moment in time it looks like Andrea Fastuni has actually peaked, because the songs and the performances are becoming like predictable in many respects. But again, I think that that's also down to the song choices that he's had over the last 3 or 4 weeks, particularly over the last 2. So we need to look at the judges again in that sense, and you tell me whether or not you agree with me. Do you think that Louis needs to grow a set, and do you feel that Scary Spice had a lot to play in the actual song choices that Paul Lancaster has been making, and for the fact that he's no longer in the competition? That's your call. You let me know. Just put a comment at the bottom there. Okay, so now let's look at my choices for performance of the week. And this week I only have 2 candidates, Andrea Fastuni and Fleur East. Andrea did a very good vocal again, as I said before. Seems to be somewhat predictable in the sense that the songs don't really have the same kind of passion and meaning that he's had in earlier performances. And on this occasion, I think that it was a really good idea for Fleur to do a song where she didn't have to dance around, and then to prove that she has some vocal chops, and actually she delivered. She's not necessarily one of the better singers in the competition, but as far as an all-round artist is concerned, you know that she can perform, you know that she can rap a little, we know that she can dance, and now we know that she has a decent voice. So I think again she's really shown that she has what it takes to be an all-round artist, and I think that this is what this competition should be more about. So my performance of the week again this week goes to Fleur East. Okay, so this week we're going to look at the vocal delivery of Ben Haenow on the Michael Jackson song Man in the Mirror. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the a cappella intro that Ben did, and there are 2 sides of the fence. Some say that he'd done a good job, some say that it wasn't of the kind of quality that some of the other vocalists did when they performed this week, and it's a valid argument. But what we're going to look at here is not necessarily critique of Ben's vocal delivery, but what makes the original what it is and how one should approach that type of song. Now, there are 2 specific techniques we're going to look at. One of them we did before, which is insinuation. That's very important to how the song maintains its rhythmic feel. Even if you're doing an a cappella intro with no groove and no beat, of course you still have to produce that with your vocal. That still has to be there. And the other one is basic tone change. This is what we do, the way in which we manipulate the control of our voice through either changing the way that a vowel is pronounced or controlling the way that a vowel is pronounced by shaping or basing it around the controlling vowels that determine our tone and our sound. So we're going to break it down into different sections. Now, first of all, let's look at the lyrics. The first 2 lines, I'm gonna make a change in my life, for once in my life. And if we sing without the vowel manipulation, it will sound something like this.
Gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna be real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
So you can see it sounds quite strained in places because you're actually singing and pronouncing the vowels as if you were pronouncing them in your speech patterns. It's important to realize that speech patterns and singing patterns are very different. We only use a small percentage of our vocal capacity for speaking, and so when we sing, we should bear in mind the different things, different ways we can manipulate the pronunciation. The first one of those is basic tone changes. It's where we take the I pronounce words that are pronounced I and drop down off, and make sure that we only focus on what I call the lift point. So when we pronounce I, we don't conclude it, we only focus on the lift point, which is ah, yeah? So that we're saying ah, not I. So when you sing something like a word like my or life, you say ma or life, yeah? So it's gonna sing,
Gonna make a change for once in my life.
as opposed to
Gonna make a change for once in my life.
and I hope you can hear the difference between the two, because it's not easy for me to underpronounce the words in that way, because my vowels are used to, my muscles are used to shaping the vowels according to how they should be pronounced. So what we're doing with it is making sure that the my is lifted up and the life is lifted up, and we can do the same with other vowels in the mix that actually make them, even though they're not shaped like I's, we can open them up and lift them up to the placements that determine the sound. So we can sing, it's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference. Or we can sing, it's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. So you're lifting up to those notes all the time. So I'll sing the whole thing within the basic tone change variety, which is controlled, by the way, by what I call your vowel pattern development, which is one of the techniques that I teach as part of my daily warm-ups, that you can actually download and view free whenever you like using my YouTube channel. So the way in which you would sing it with the vowel manipulation, and also with the syncopation, the insinuation of certain words, so that there has to be a rhythm to it. So you would sing,
Gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna be real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
and that's how you will control the basic pronunciations of the words, and of course keep the timing. Thank you for tuning in again. Remember, you can find out more about my vocal tutoring by going to the website, which is below me here. Of course, you can follow me on all the social platforms, and if you want to check out my tutorials, and like I said before, you've got my free daily warm-up exercise tutorials that you can also access on my YouTube channel below here as well. Now, let me know what you think about the decisions that went on this week in the comments below, and of course, let me know whether or not you think the judges are doing their jobs properly. Again, thank you very much for tuning in, and I can't promise that I'll see you next week, because it really depends on how well or how badly the show treats the singers on there, and how well or how badly the judges perform. But what I will say is that very shortly I will be starting my free video tutorial hangout sessions, where I'll be doing masterclasses to up to 20 participants, but they will only be open to people who are subscribed to my YouTube channel and or are following me on Twitter. So the only way you'll find out about those is through those invites. You'll get a Google Plus invite, and then you can come and join me on a hangout, and I'll be answering vocal questions and giving vocal tips generally. So, but there will be a limited number of people that are able to do that, and I'll do them once every month. So if you don't see me at my blog next week, you'll know why. And if you don't, look out for my notices on my forthcoming free tutorials on the Hangout. Thank you very much.